for discussion is kangaroo mother care and what are the clinical features in COVID suspected or neonates. So, should kangaroo mother care be practiced in neonate born to mother with suspected or confirmed SARS-CoV infection? This is my next question. In KMC, the kangaroo mother care should be provided to stable, low birth weight neonate who are otherwise eligible, irrespective of mother's COVID status, and initiated as early as mother's medical condition allow. It means to say there is no guidelines saying that no KMC should be provided. It should be provided irrespective of the mother's COVID status and initiated as early as possible if mother medical condition allow. If the mother is not able to provide KMC due to her medical condition, the father of the neonate or another family member who is not symptomatic and he should be tested to be SARS-CoV-2 negative can provide skin to skin contact. Frequent change of such person providing KMC should be avoided. And the person providing KMC should follow respiratory etiquettes like washing hands frequently before and after KMC and wear a triple layered mask. Next is the clinical importance of COVID-19 in neonates. What is the effect on fetus due to COVID-19? The COVID-19 in pregnancy is associated with increased risk of stillbirth, intrauterine growth restriction and preterm births. The adverse effects are more pronounced in symptomatic women. If the mother is symptomatic, the adverse effects are more pronounced. Or if the drug often used in treatment of COVID-19 may have teratogenic potential. The next is effect on neonate. The newborn born to a COVID positive mother are at a risk of vertical transmission of the infection. Though the risks are very less and low, but there are risks for vertical transmission, and the COVID-19 infection in pregnancy is associated with increased preterm, prematurity related complication, low birth weight and higher neonatal morbidity index. Next, what will be the mode of transmission of SARS-CoV-2 infection in a neonate? It may be both vertical and horizontal. The mode of transmission may be transplacental from mother to fetus, that is intrauterine infection, but it is relatively rare. Second is direct exposure to maternal blood or secretion during delivery, that is intrapartum infection, more likely than the intrauterine infection. And third is through aerosol or direct contact from infected mother or caregiver, including healthcare worker in the postnatal period, most likely method of infection. Next is perinatal transmission. The perinatal transmission is defined as positive nasopharyngeal RT-PCR in a neonate during first 72 hours after birth. This includes intrauterine and intrapartum transmission. The testing is avoided in the first 12 hours to minimize false positive due to superficial colonization. Next is horizontal transmission is considered in a neonate with negative RT-PCR within first 72 hours who is subsequently tested positive anytime after 72 hours of birth, irrespective of mother's SARS-CoV-2 infection. It means vertical is in first 24 hours of birth. In first 72 hours of birth, if the neonate is tested positive for nasopharyngeal RT-PCR, and horizontal if within 72 hours he is tested negative, and subsequently after 72 hours he is tested positive, irrespective of mother's SARS-CoV-2 status. Next is classification of neonatal COVID-19. We have classified it into two parts: early onset neonatal COVID and late onset. In early onset infection is likely to have been acquired intrapartum or in immediate postpartum period. The early onset is within the first week of life, generally from 2 to 7 days. Early onset COVID is relatively less common. Most of the neonate remain asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic during this period. In late onset, the onset is beyond 5 to 7 days of life, and most neonate become symptomatic at home after discharge from the hospital. The postnatal transmission from mother or immediate care. The postnatal transmission is from mother or the immediate caregiver, and the clinical features are relatively more pronounced as compared to those in early onset. What are the slides are not moving. What are the clinical features? mostly asymptomatic or may develop mild symptoms like cough, rhinorrhea, low-grade fever. About 10 to 15% of symptomatic neonates may develop moderate to severe symptoms like respiratory distress, lethargy, poor feeding, vomiting, diarrhea, and hemodynamic instability. And the lab investigation which we have to send is, the lab investigation might show leukocytosis, lymphopenia, thrombocytopenia, and elevated inflammatory markers like CRP, procalcitonin, interleukin 6, and ferritin. These inflammatory markers may show a sign of maybe raised, can show raised CRP or ESR. Otherwise, these markers can be negative also. Next is classification of the severity of illness of neonates. So IL category, there is fever, rhinorrhea, cough, diarrhea, vomiting, and there is no tachypnea. If the neonate has moderate intensity severity, then there will be tachypnea, which indicates respiratory rate more than 60 per minute, or hypoxia, that is saturation 90 to 94% in room air, and there is no sign of severe disease, or any of the following, like pneumonia with any of these, saturation less than 90%, or CNS features like lethargy, refusal to feed or seizures, severe diarrhea or vomiting, critical disease if any of the following, like ARDS, shock, multi-organ dysfunction syndrome, and acute thrombosis, they all include the severe form of the illness. Next is COVID-19 testing. COVID-19 testing in neonates. What should be the COVID testing protocol in neonates? The COVID-19 testing in neonates, the RT-PCR for SARS-CoV-2 is the test of choice. However, if RT-PCR is not available, point of care tests can be used for triaging and rapid diagnosis. Point of care tests include TrueNAT, CBNAT, or rapid antigen. These tests should be done on combined nasopharyngeal swab. Tracheal sample can be used for testing if neonate is intubated. When the index of suspicious is high, a negative rapid antigen test need to be confirmed with RT-PCR. Means to say that if we have a positive RT-PCR test, then it should be considered as a positive COVID. If we have a high index of suspicion and a negative rapid antigen test, then it need to be confirmed with a RT-PCR test. Serological testing like total IgM or IgG antibody level is not recommended to diagnose acute infection in neonate. A positive result by RT-PCR or TrueNAT, CBNAT, or rapid antigen is confirmatory. Any individual who has tested positive by rapid antigen test need not go RT-PCR for confirmation. If it is a rapid antigen is positive, then it should be considered positive. If it is negative and we have a high suspicion of COVID, then it should be confirmed by RT-PCR. 19 testing in neonates. There is a scenario and the recommendation. If the scenario when we should suspect then that the neonate should be tested for COVID-19. First, when the mother with COVID-19 detected within 14 days before or within 2 days after delivery. Like when we have to suspect that when the mother is positive within 14 days of the delivery or after 2 days within the delivery, then we should suspect then the neonate may be infected with the COVID-19. Then the timing of test, what we have to do, it should be between 24 to 48 hours of age. The neonate should be tested between 24 to 48 hours, and rooming in should not be postponed if testing is delayed. In case of early discharge, take a pre-discharge sample. And the repeat testing, if there is a high suspicion of like COVID-19 infection in neonate and our first test came negative, then the repeat testing is desirable at 5 to 7 days of age if the neonate become symptomatic. Repeat testing can help to prevent transmission from the neonate who is likely to be asymptomatic even if infected to the other family members. Next scenario, if the mother or the family member or healthcare provider, there is a history of exposure to person with COVID-19, then the timing of test In asymptomatic high risk contact should be tested once between 5 to 10 days. मतलब the patient, the newborn is asymptomatic, but there is a high risk of contact because history of exposure to a COVID-19 family member or mother. So then the neonate should be tested once between day 5 to 10 in coming contact with the high risk. Third scenario is symptomatic neonate. If the neonate is symptomatic, irrespective of the history of exposure, with the onset at or beyond 48 hours of life and presenting with acute respiratory or respiratory distress or sepsis-like illness, then the timing of test is at the time of first evaluation. If without any history of exposure or without any COVID-19 status, if the neonate is symptomatic after 48 hours of life, if he develops respiratory distress or sepsis-like illness, then exactly at the time of first evaluation, RT-PCR should be done. Immediate rapid antigen should be done if available, and which can help decide to transfer to the neonate to an appropriate area. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon everyone. Again, my next topic for discussion is what are the investigation for COVID-19 in neonates, and what should be the treatment and how we should proceed in a COVID suspected newborn and a SARS-CoV positive newborn. So what should be the specific management for neonates with COVID-19? In neonate with suspected or confirmed but asymptomatic or mild COVID-19, no routine lab investigation aside from RT-PCR for SARS-CoV-2 infection is recommended. If the neonate is asymptomatic or if he or she has a mild COVID, no other routine investigation we should send. We should only send RT-PCR for the confirmation of COVID infection. In neonate with symptomatic or moderate or severe COVID-19 illness, the relevant biochemical, hematological and coagulation tests may be performed to obtain information on the severity, progression and complication of COVID-19 illness, and to rule out other coexisting illness like sepsis, asphyxia or meconium aspiration syndrome. Lab investigation is essential in neonate presenting with the signs and symptoms of MIS, which is multisystem inflammatory syndrome. And what should be the specific management for neonatal with COVID-19? In neonate, the specific anti-COVID-19 treatment like remdesivir, lopinavir, ritonavir, chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin or interferon is not recommended in symptomatic neonate with confirmed or suspected COVID-19. Even if the neonate is symptomatic, or if he has confirmed or suspected COVID-19, we should not use any specific treatment. There is no recommended guidelines. Use of adjunctive therapy such as IVIG is not recommended in symptomatic neonate with confirmed or suspected COVID-19, other than in the scenario of multisystem inflammatory syndrome. Only there is guidelines that are suggesting the use of systemic corticosteroid. They may be considered in neonate with severe or critical COVID-19 requiring mechanical ventilation, in whom alternate cause for sepsis have been ruled out. And the dose should be, we can use dexamethasone at the rate of 0.15 mg per kg once daily for 5 to 14 days. As an alternate, we can use hydrocort, which at the dose of 3.75 mg per kg, or we can also use methylpred or prednisolone. Methylpred at a dose of 0.8 mg per kg and prednisolone at a dose of 1 mg per kg can be considered. So what are the extra precautions we should use during COVID-19? We should discharge mother and baby to home at earliest at possible if the mother is if both are medically stable. At home, extra precaution like baby should not be handled by multiple people should be taken. Correct masking and hand hygiene by the mother and all family members should be taught, and a good hygiene and clean environment and natural ventilation, light for mother and baby diet, and a standard care for mother and baby. So the key message, the neonatal that can acquire COVID-19 during delivery, but the key message is neonate can acquire COVID-19 infection during delivery, but more commonly during postnatal period at home, and majority of it is preventable. Majority of neonate do not develop any symptoms or have mild illness due to COVID-19, and the prognosis is also very good. Rooming in, breastfeeding, KMC, immunization and routine care should be continued. There is no such specific care that we should do in COVID-19 situation. Like we have to do rooming in also as same which we are doing previously. Breastfeeding and KMC also be can be done without in the previous situation. And the communication with family should be strengthened, and they should be taught that we should not be panicking in this situation. We should be doing the same which we are doing previously. And the keys to protection is minimum handler, universal masking, physical distancing, respiratory etiquettes, hand hygiene and housekeeping. Thank you.